operation as well in Alameda County. Max Darrow got a close look at what it looked like.
For a little over a year, Judge Sandy Bean has prepared for an assignment that will be a first for her and for Alameda County.
I'm hoping for a flurry of activity because we want to have people here.
Bean will be the presiding judge over Alameda County's CARE Act Court. CARE Court is a civil court process aimed at providing a personalized care plan for people with specified severe mental illnesses, such as schizophrenia or other similar psychotic disorders, that prioritizes treatment, housing, and a path towards recovery. It's a collaborative effort between the Superior Court and the Behavioral Health Department. This is a voluntary step for people with the aim of getting help before they get involved with the criminal legal system, are committed to a state hospital, or end up in conservatorship. A person can petition for CARE Court themselves. The process also allows for family members, first responders, and certain health professionals to file a petition.
What I'm looking forward to is really working with a segment of the population that's often avoided and often forgotten.
Over the last year, Bean and others involved have traveled to several counties in the state that have already launched CARE Court to get a roadmap of how to get it running successfully. She's met with judges, attorneys, and other players involved, observed proceedings, and has asked a lot of questions.
What I came away with from all of the counties was that you have to work together, that it has to be a collaborative court, that you have to really know who you're working with, trust the people that you're working with, and really pull together.
We've taken a lot of what they've learned, which includes, how to develop some of our assessments, what our templates should look like, really how to partner with the court and the public defenders early on.
Juan Taizan is on the behavioral health side of the equation. He says they have focused on building a robust outreach and engagement team.
I do believe we will maximize the services that we've set aside for CARE Court. I do think the need is there.
While that may be the case, turnout in other counties that first implemented CARE Court, like San Francisco, has been considerably low. However, Taizan is optimistic and says people in Alameda County have been asking about CARE Court for a while.
More from family members who are eager to get their loved ones into CARE Court, into treatment that they think they really need and deserve.
I think Alameda County has a fairly large number of people who could benefit from this, and so I think it is needed. I think it's not the solution for everything. I think there's certainly more that's needed.
In the home stretch of the rollout, the Superior Court has held collaborative training sessions working with behavioral health personnel. They've been open to the public with the hope of spreading the word about CARE Court.
We've gotten very good turnout, so that's been good.
A new assignment for Judge Bean and a new avenue for care in Alameda County for vulnerable people with a great need.
What I'm looking forward to is being able to, in any small way, help their lives.
As mentioned, participation in CARE Court has gotten off to a slow start in some parts of the state, especially in the city of San Francisco. Of the 9 counties currently participating, we've received data from these 7. San Francisco only had 47 petitions filed since its launch in October of 2023. Meanwhile, San Diego County was the strongest with a total of 227 petitions. Meanwhile, Governor Newsom's goal was to help 2,000 people statewide by the end of the year. Yet with the first year into the program, the state is well behind with less than half of that number. Still, Governor Newsom is defending this lag, his office issuing this statement saying, quote, "The early successes of CARE Court show steady progress toward connecting more people with life-changing and life-saving care. While change is not always fast, this first-in-the-nation program is designed to disrupt the status quo, and we are seeing early promising results." The governor says he also signed a number of bills earlier this year meant to streamline the CARE Court petition process. Alameda County began taking e-filing on Thursday, and starting today, they're taking in-person filings as well. In Piedmont, we now know the names of 3 college students who were killed in a Cybertruck crash this past Wednesday, according to Piedmont officials. Jack Nelson, Soren Dixon, and Krista Sukahara were college sophomores home for Thanksgiving break. They graduated from Piedmont High School last year, and their families released individual statements saying they are devastated but grateful for the community's support. We spoke with this week to the mother of the sole survivor of this crash, and she tells us that her son, Jordan Miller, was pulled out by someone driving behind them. Miller was listed in critical condition.
It's just really devastating, honestly, and to know that they had a really bright future ahead.
With it happening the day before Thanksgiving, it's a lot, and I'm holding closer to my friends and my family.
It's just an unspeakable tragedy. Life is precious and we have to cherish it.
Police say the truck burst into flames after crashing on Hampton Road. Police still investigating the cause of the crash, but they believe that speed was a factor. One of San Francisco's street ambassador programs, Urban Alchemy, now in jeopardy. 300 jobs could be cut, all because of a budget crisis. Our Lauren Toms met up with some of the team members who tell us the difference that it makes.
Everybody needs help and everybody needs love.
It's not just a feeling, it's a mission for Sherman, Deputy Director of Urban Alchemy's Love Team. Each day, he walks this block of Mission Street between 8th and 9th, making the city a little safer and a little kinder.
I felt good helping people. I remember my first reversal. I once took lives, now I save lives. That was a good moment for me.
For Sherman, saving lives is more than an act of kindness. It's redemption. After spending more than 30 years behind bars, he's found a way to give back, repairing the harm he says he once caused.
It's truly giving back, and it was truly making a living amends to the community and to the people.
SHRM, as he's lovingly called, represents the evolution of the Love Team. Originally founded in 2023 as an all-women group focused on unhoused women and domestic violence survivors, the team has since grown. Today, its practitioners, men and women alike, connect with anyone in need.
Welcome, have a good day, okay?
And that love is making an impact. In their first year, the Love Team has collected more than 1,700 needles, used over 1,000 trash bags to clean public spaces, and reversed 6 overdoses. Sherm personally saved one of those lives, but he doesn't do it alone. Meet Natea, once homeless herself. She now channels her past into compassion for others.
I was homeless before, so that's why my compassion comes. I felt like nobody did love me. That's how I felt in the past. But now, being with the community and actually working for the community, I see what I was going through. I see myself within that unhousedness.
Together, the Love Team has transformed this small stretch of San Francisco, but the work has also transformed Sherman Tay themselves.
Every day I learn, and I learn by listening. To show that you care about them, it means that I've learned something.
And on this block, love isn't just a word, it's an action. And for Sherman Tay, it's also a second chance.
Urban Alchemy is waiting on more than $7 million in the city's budget, which needs to be approved by the Board of Supervisors. But there has been concern about how the organization is spending its money. It's set to be discussed during a meeting this coming Wednesday. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area, California may still be blue, but Republicans are making major gains across the state. We look at what's driving this red shift through the eyes of some East Bay business owners who say that they used to always vote Democrat. Plus, how a nonprofit in the East Bay is hoping to enrich the lives of people in prison. And a celebration of culture. We take a look at the rise of Native American fashion in the Bay Area.
It was a beautiful Thanksgiving weekend and dry, widespread throughout the Bay Area. And we're going to continue to see that too as we head into this week's forecast. 60s in store for us all week long along the Bay, closer to San Francisco, all the way across the Bay Bridge over in Oakland too. But we warm up a lot more in some of our inland spots. You're not going to notice it as much if you live up in the North Bay, but for our friends down into the Santa Clara Valley, today and tomorrow we're seeing 70s in the forecast for us, which feels almost more summer-like. We'll also see mostly sunny skies in our inland areas till Thursday with partly cloudy skies around the corner.
California is swearing in its largest class of women lawmakers today, marking a historic milestone with women making up nearly half of the state legislature. For the first time, women will hold a majority in the state Senate. This increase in female representation is largely a result of term limits. Over the past 7 years, the number of female legislators has doubled, making California one of the few states to achieve gender parity in one of its chambers.
Term limits do provide an opportunity for growth in our community. As things are evolving, we juggle multiple things, whether it's motherhood and work and community service.
The California special session also starts today, focusing on key legislative issues. Governor Newsom called for the session to prepare for litigation against Trump policies. It's expected to address reproductive freedom, clean vehicle policies, disaster response, and protections for immigrants. The Golden State is still a blue state, but when you compare results of the presidential election between 2020 and 2024, you see that counties here have flipped from blue to red, supporting President-elect Donald Trump. Kenny Choi spent time in the East Bay and parts of Alameda County to find out why some small business owners say they also made that change.
Kenny Zhao built his American dream, becoming the owner of Elliston Vineyards in the tiny town of Sunol. He added these curious ostriches as part of the attraction.
The mountain lions and the coyotes eat all the chicken, but they cannot touch the ostrich. They're too big. They grow up so fast.
He and partner Tammy Lee both supported Obama and voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016.
I feel that this Democrat Party value really represented us.
At the beginning, I was kind of against the Trump.
Lee saved enough to open her first 7-Eleven store in Alameda County in 2011.
That's the American dream. You know, you got some small investment, get a few stores, you become your own entrepreneur.
It was a humble start to provide for her children. But after Prop 47 passed in 2014, which reclassified certain offenses from felonies to misdemeanors, including thefts under $950, their everyday lives at work began to crumble. Like many other small business owners, they saw a handful of petty thefts become exponentially more frequent and blatant.
It was a little puzzle why, and then later on when we figured out that's because of the law, then we feel this impact and we start feeling very angry.
They began to question if voting for incumbent Democrats was working for them.
It's gradual. It's not an overnight shift. Just you see that things that's not right, and you cannot do anything.
According to a breakdown of presidential voting data by Axios, Alameda County saw one of the largest shifts from blue to red in the Bay Area. Taking 2016 as the baseline, Alameda shifted just 1.5% in 2020, but this year it swung more than 11 points to red. Lonnie Chen is a Republican strategist and fellow at the Hoover Institution at Stanford University.
Given what's happening in the environment in California with public safety issues, with cost of living, with housing concerns, this does create a big warning sign for the Democratic Party and for Democrat politicians here in California.
While the economy is a driver in their shift to support Republicans and Trump, they say public safety played a huge role. Lee endured rampant reoccurring thefts for more than 5 years until low-level criminals started becoming violent.
He come over, just attack me. That
punched you?
Punching me on my neck here. You know, and I fell on the floor.
Soon after, in 2019, the Dublin resident, fearing for her family's safety, sold both stores.
And they start questioning, okay, who allowed this to happen? Why this, Democrat Party, they put in all this policy, these laws that doesn't make sense at all.
They still lean left when it comes to social issues, saying they support LGBTQ rights and equality for all, but believe a Trump administration will restore some of their core values of meritocracy and rule of law.
He actually can make sure we have protect our business, protect peoples, and protect everything we have.
You know, all these daily things affecting the daily life, I hope that we chums in the house that, that can be restored.
They say they've decided to embrace the change, fully supporting the Trump administration, even bottling a MAGA wine vintage. The pair personifies a growing shift across California from blue to red.
Asian American voters made a major shift to the right. Exit polls from the Washington Post show a 5-point swing to the GOP from 2020 to the 2024 presidential race. Right now, more than 1 million people are incarcerated across the U.S. For the past 30 years, the Berkeley-based Prisoners Literature Project has continued to send hundreds of thousands of books to some of those people behind bars. Our Amanda Harry spoke with the nonprofit made up of all volunteers about why they have continued to keep the program running for so many years.
Between going to class, studying, and applying for jobs, UC Berkeley senior Zoe Blunt spends her free time scouring these shelves for books.
Fulfilling a request right now.
But none are for her. They're for incarcerated people across the country.
Just thinking about you, sending you my strength and empathy.
She handwrites a note to each person, thanking them for their request to the Prisoners Literature Project. For some, it's the only mail they'll receive this holiday season. She hopes her small act will make a big difference and bring a smile to the face of the people who receive the books.
I always put a little doodle on there because I feel like it's cute personally.
PLP is an all-volunteer grassroots nonprofit. They send free reading material to people behind bars with hopes of improving their lives.
Every book we send out is just a little boost to someone who's trying to broaden their perspective or change their circumstances or increase their chances of success.
The books range from fiction to textbooks. Christopher Gales has been volunteering with PLP for more than 8 years. His kid learned about the group through a school project, and Gales decided to help out too. The group sends out about 1,200 packages a month. Most of the books are donated or purchased at a discount at library sales. Every prison has different restrictions. They have a binder filled with the guidelines about how many books can be sent, the condition of the books, and even the content.
How they're really verging on censorship now.
But still, they try to work around it, even going as far as to rip maps out of Game of Thrones to prevent it from being sent back because of a no maps rule. And the prisoners appreciate it.
We have 2 bulletin boards that are crammed with thank you notes.
One letter says, "You let a little bit of sunshine into our otherwise dark and dismal cells we're attempting to thrive in." Blunt's favorite part is reading and writing the letters.
This is a process that rehumanizes the people that have been like historically and contemporarily dehumanized. So it gives you a chance to, wish them well and just tell them that you're thinking about them and you're happy that you're able to support them.
Blunt has spent her college career studying the prison system and how it impacts women of color. She says this volunteer work has helped solidify her desire to continue to help incarcerated people after college.
All we have is each other, and if we're ever going to get free, it's like we need to be helping each other.
Combating the incarceration system with knowledge and kindness.
The group says the best way people can support them is by donating. Their biggest expense is postage, each package costing about $6 to send out, and they hope that they're able to send out many packages as much as possible over the holiday season. Still ahead, cultural couture, why Native American fashion is having a moment right now in the Bay Area.
have the most beautiful, mild weather pattern for us here in the Bay Area. 70s in store for us down into the Santa Clara Valley this afternoon. So yeah, a little bit warmer than usual if you ask me, by about 15 degrees in certain pockets of the Bay Area. We're still holding on tight to 60s though, anywhere from San Francisco up across the Golden Gate Bridge, all the way up into the North Bay near Marin and Sonoma. Beautiful mid-mild 70s or 60s in the forecast for us, and beautiful mild weather in the forecast too. Here's what's happening as we head outside today. We're going to continue to see these partly cloudy skies really develop as we head outside and head into the afternoon hours too. Now, light winds are going to stick around for us heading into the afternoon hours today, lasting into this afternoon and evening tonight. We're really not going to see too much of a change in the forecast for us. Just some partly cloudy skies rolling in from offshore. Now, it is a spare the air alert day today, so keep that in mind, especially when it comes to outdoor burning. Today's not the day to be doing it. Heading into the next 7 days, we remain dry, widespread throughout the Bay Area, and that's kind of the big weather story for us this week, is the fact that this area of high pressure, it's been ridging its way in, and so that's going to dry us up, like we see issued by the Climate Prediction Center. For the next 6 to 10 days, we're dealing with drier than normal conditions, but we're also dealing with warmer than normal conditions too. So let's take a look at the next 7 days. Really, based on where you live in the Bay Area, it's going to be a little bit different, but if you live along the Bay, we'll still hold on tight to mid to upper 60s today, tomorrow, lasting into the rest of this week with just those partly cloudy skies, kind of like what we see right now behind me over the Bay Bridge. It's almost hard to tell right now because it's a little saturated, but heading into our inland areas, now it depends on where we're talking about. Usually this behind me is just an average, right, of the East Bay, the North Bay, the Santa Clara Valley. But once we head into the next couple of days, you're going to notice it's a lot warmer down near San Jose. 70s are going to hold on tight to us pretty much all week long. But the rest of us in the East Bay and the North Bay will see mid 60s, upper 60s for a bit, with some cooler weather diving into this weekend.
Indigenous fashion is on the rise right now, and as people look for the real deal, our Itai Had recently spent the day at a photo shoot for a Native American clothing brand that's hoping that its clothes is a runway success.
At first glance, it looks like any other photo shoot. Models strike poses under bright lights, photographers click away. But in this small clothing store in San Jose, something much bigger is unfolding.
The fashion in the Native American community is definitely having a moment. There's a need for it, there's an interest in it. So I'm gonna pull this.
Tiffany Lopez is an art director who's part Chiricahua Apache and part Yaqui. She's done countless shoots, but today she's working with Tochtli Wear, a label that's bringing Native American fashion into focus.
We're modern people, so we like hoodies and sweaters and all of this, but we still like to maintain some of our indigeneity.
For decades, Native designs were more about costumes than couture, but brands like Tochtli are changing that. They're not just making clothes, they're making a statement.
This is like our last great chief.
Founder Mitlalpili Gonzalez, who's part Aztec, says in recent years there's been a growing interest in Native art, food, and fashion, driven by a broader appreciation for authenticity and social media. So much so that he recently opened his first brick-and-mortar store in San Jose.
I think it's part of the larger movement of a resurgence of identity, of people trying to reconnect with their roots, reconnect with their culture.
As for Lopez, she's hoping to tell more of these stories through the camera lens, giving her community the exposure it deserves.
To work with people who look like me, who are from where I'm from, is so refreshing, and it feels like a home.
Lighting up the fashion world with a flash of pride.
This is perfect.
And so beautiful. The owner tells us a portion of the proceeds help run a community space at the store for the Native American community. Coming up in our next half hour here on CBS News Bay Area, one Bay Area psychologist now touting the mental health benefits of ketamine, details on the therapy and how clients are using the drug safely. Plus, a single mother is lending a hand to help provide solutions for parents in need, how she's transforming her home to help address the state's child care crisis. I'm Veronica Macias, and this is The Minute. Today, closing arguments are underway in the murder trial of Nima Momeni. The jury could get the case as early as this afternoon. Prosecutors say Momeni stabbed tech executive Bob Lee in a fit rage in April of last year. The defense says Momeni acted in self-defense after Lee got aggressive. Today, California lawmakers, they're starting a special session called by Governor Gavin Newsom. He says his goal is to protect the state's progressive policies amid the second Trump presidency. Today, lawmakers are also swearing in new members, and for the first time ever, women make up nearly half of the state legislature. The San Francisco Federal Building is being formally dedicated to Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi. The first female Speaker of the House unveiled the new signage this morning at Mission and 7th. Pelosi has served San Francisco in Congress for 37 years. The Bay Area's only primetime newscast at 8 and 9 p.m. on PIX Plus 44, Cable 12.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
It was a beautiful Thanksgiving weekend for us all throughout the Bay Area, and now we're starting to warm up a lot. I mean, we have mid-60s in the forecast today near San Francisco, stretched all the way down along Highway 101 into Redwood City. We continue to stretch down into the South Bay, though. This is going to be the warmest spot for us heading into this afternoon, with 70s in store for us near San Jose, all the way down into Morgan Hill, too. Now, there's no rain in sight right now. It's a dry day for us here in the Bay Area, and we are gearing up for just some partly cloudy skies. That'll be the trend for us all week long as we're all heading back to work and school today and tomorrow. It was a beautiful holiday weekend for us here in the Bay Area, and we're seeing more of that similar weather pattern lasting into this week's forecast. Not a drop of rain in sight. If anything, the Climate Prediction Center is actually showing drier than normal conditions for us throughout the next 6 to 10 days. This leads us all the way up until December 12th, wide stretch throughout the whole state of California and pretty much all throughout the West Coast too. So what does that mean for us? Well, as we take a look at the next 7 days, it paints a pretty simple picture. We're going to continue to see a little bit warmer than normal conditions due to the fact that high pressure is ridging its way in from offshore, giving us a little bit warmer weather, drier weather too, and it definitely feels like fall right now throughout most of the Bay Area. But if you live down in the South Bay, it almost feels a little summer-like with those 70s holding on tight to us each day. Now, it's hard to show that when you look at the inland forecast because this averages out the East Bay and the North Bay included. But if you live in the East and North Bay, it'll be a little bit cooler for us, sitting in the mid-60s throughout most this week.
It's a drug that's made headlines from Matthew Perry's death to the Momeni murder trial. Ketamine is a Schedule III controlled substance in the same classification as steroids. They're considered less dangerous and less addictive than some other drugs. But now, a local psychologist is trying to cut through what he calls misinformation when it comes to using the drug for mental health treatment. Kevin Coe spoke with several people involved with the ketamine-assisted therapy about its promise and its challenges.
Harvey Schwartz is the co-founder of the Polaris Insight Center.
This is like a typical San Francisco Edwardian or Victorian building.
This home-like therapy office offers legal ketamine-assisted psychotherapy, also known as KAP. Ketamine therapy can be administered through an FDA-approved nasal spray. Schwartz uses oral lozenges or IV.
There's low dose, medium dose, and high dose.
Schwartz got his PhD in the early 80s, but it wasn't until 2016 where he became a proponent, advocate, and educator for KAP.
It's a blessing, but it's also easily misunderstood. It's easily the subject of propaganda, but it's also the biggest breakthrough in mental health that's happened in the past 50 years.
Schwartz sees ketamine as a therapeutic tool unlike any other. He says it treats and heals across the mind, body, and soul, doing so much faster than traditional antidepressants. But Schwartz knows many don't see ketamine the same way he and other licensed psychologists here do.
It's heartbreaking to see one event throw back the movement of the past 5 or 10 years. And so there's been a drop in people coming for treatment because they've been intimidated by the misinformation.
Whether it was when actor Matthew Perry fatally drowned with ketamine in his system last year, or in the murder trial of Cash App founder Bob Lee, who had ketamine in his system when killed. Schwartz says headlines spread confusion on the therapeutic benefits of ketamine.
One of my best friends called me and said, "Oh, I just heard about Matthew Perry, and are you sure this is safe? And I don't know why you're doing this."
Andy is a Polaris patient who feels the public perception of ketamine personally. That's why he isn't comfortable showing his face, after doing 25 CAP sessions over 3 years.
My gosh, like I could think through problems. I could see pieces that I didn't see before, solutions that people may have offered where I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Suddenly we're like, well, maybe I'll do that.
But you can't really talk about it.
That's why I wanted to do this. This is a therapeutic intervention that's guided by science and guided by professionals, but people don't know that. So I would hate for someone who knows me well in a professional setting to judge me and think, oh man, you're like doing K? What's up with that?
Andy says CAP worked for him when traditional therapy couldn't break through. Psychologist Jessica Armstrong says this is a common game changer.
I think it can just really catalyze the process. You know, we can get to things in talk therapy without medicine that you can get to in medicine sessions, but the potential for getting there kind of more rapidly.
These reported rapid benefits of CAP run contrary to the public perception of ketamine. For advocates like Schwartz, it speaks to the ongoing growth of a new page in mental health treatment.
One bad apple kind of spoils the whole thing. And so there's a fragility to the emergence of a new paradigm.
Critics of ketamine therapy say the drug has the potential for addiction. There are also concerns about the lack of regulations. Plus, each treatment can run upwards of $1,000 and it's not covered by insurance. In East San Jose, there's expected to be a final decision this evening on the school closures in the Alum Rock School District. Donald Meyer Elementary is among the 7 campuses on the chopping block, and it all comes in the wake of a massive budget crisis. The district superintendent says declining enrollment means the school gets less money, and that equals this big deficit. The district must also approve a deficit reduction plan within 2 weeks, where the county steps in here to take over the district. California also has a child care crisis on its hands, and that's only gotten worse since the pandemic. The state's lack of affordable child care is hurting families and workers in the industry. Last year, Governor Newsom signed a bill allocating about $2 billion for state-funded child care providers in an effort to also lower fees. As Suji Nam reports, one mom in East Palo Alto is hoping to help bridge some of that gap by starting a child care center in her own home.
¿Quieres uno, Jason? Mira, Jason. ¿Quieres olerlo? ¿Quieres, Jason? Mira. Yum, yum, yum. ¿No quieres?
At Apollo Daycare and Preschool in East Palo Alto, you'll hear these lively sounds.
Días, amiguitos, ¿cómo están?
Owner Maribel Aguilar teaches Spanish at her language immersion daycare.
So we have curriculums for infants, for toddlers, and for preschoolers. And we really like for them to explore and to be exposed. And this is really important for them to, especially with the little ones, to be like a more sensual activities.
Maribel moved from Mexico to East Palo Alto about 2 years ago. She was trying to figure out what she could do to help parents.
It's really important for me because I can create a community. And that's the most important thing in my life. I just want to support and help other people, and I think this job offered me the opportunity to do that.
That passion prompted her to open her own daycare right from her home. She and her staff take care of about 14 children ranging from 1 to 5 years old. Maribel said her dream became reality because of the support from the Renaissance Entrepreneurship Center. She took a 10-course program, and the center provided her with a grant to help start her daycare. The center's CEO, Sharon Miller, says they work with women entrepreneurs who need that push to start their business.
Nobody really is born knowing how to do accounting or marketing or operations. So we plug them in by helping them to shape their ideas into a profitable business.
Sharon's team awarded Maribel with an Entrepreneur of the Year award for her dedication to bridging the gap in the childcare industry.
She just took in every word that she heard, and she participated so generously in the classes and with the other students.
And back here at Apollo Daycare and Preschool,
Buen trabajo.
Many children are learning Spanish for the first time.
They have like a high self-esteem. They can learn how to solve problems.
Maribel remembers the struggles she endured as a single parent raising 2 children and had wished there were more childcare resources back then. And now,
Ooh, Santino.
She hopes to be that helping hand for single moms and working parents today.
It was really hard for me to find a place for my daughters, to run from one work to another one and to find the right person to take care of them. It was a really stressful time in that moment. And now, when this program, I can help other moms, especially when they are alone. Está muy frío.
But Maribel's dreams don't stop there. She's figuring out ways to expand her childcare in the Bay Area.
I want to open like a school out of my house, not like a home daycare. I just want to have like a school outside so more people can come, can have more kids.
She's a mom who wants to help more moms just like her.
And helping those kids become bilingual. Up next, recycling a restaurant, how a South Bay eatery is repurposing every inch of an old Carl's Jr. into something brand new, right down to the drive-thru.
It was a beautiful Thanksgiving weekend and dry, widespread throughout the Bay Area. And we're going to continue to see that too as we head into this week's forecast. 60s in store for us all week long along the Bay, closer to San Francisco, all the way across the Bay Bridge over in Oakland too. But we warm up a lot more in some of our inland spots. You're not going to notice it as much if you live up in the North Bay, but for our friends down into the Santa Clara Valley, today and tomorrow we're seeing 70s in the forecast for us, which feels almost more summer-like. We'll also see mostly sunny skies in our inland areas till Thursday with partly cloudy skies around the corner.
The U.S. generates about 97 billion pounds of plastic waste each year, the most on the planet. And one of the biggest users of single-use plastic cups is Starbucks. And while Starbucks encourages customers to place those cups into recycling bins, a new CBS investigation also made a shocking discovery here. Here's David Chester with a preview.
After a good coffee fix, most of us try to do the right thing by putting our cup in the recycling bin. But we tracked some plastic cups that went straight from Starbucks into the landfill anyway. We asked the company to tell you, the customer, what's going on and what you can do instead to help reduce plastic waste.
The Bay Area was involved in the investigation, and you can watch the full report tonight in our evening edition at 5 p.m. South Bay developers have turned an old Carl's Jr. burger joint into Santa Clara's newest brand new bar and restaurant. It's all part of a growing trend in construction right now, meant to save money and the environment. From the old parking lot, drive-through window, and drive-up menu, nothing has gone to waste at this indoor-outdoor barbecue and brew pub. It's located just steps away from Levi Stadium, and our Lynn Ramirez has a preview.
The kitchen is still grilling burgers. And that's a hint of what a hip new restaurant in Santa Clara was before, a run-of-the-mill 1980s era Carl's Jr.
When we decided to reuse the Carl's Jr., we always thought it would be fun if we could take what it was before, a hamburger restaurant, and just elevate it to make it something a little bit more, while also making that community space.
Rob Gomez works for Ensemble, a developer that took over the closed and run-down burger joint on Tasman Drive and transformed it into Clara's Junction, a stylish gathering spot just steps away from Levi Stadium and several new high-rise buildings. What they built is a lesson in what's called adaptive reuse and creativity. The old parking lot became an outdoor patio. The fast food drive-through lane is now a cornhole gaming area. Walls were knocked down to create an indoor-outdoor walk-up bar, and there were some hidden gems on the inside.
The rafters, after we pulled the ceiling tiles down, were a lot more interesting than we expected. They were thin, but there were so many of them, and it made it kind of an interesting visual, so we just like, let's just keep them.
It's all part of a growing trend in a building strategy that can reduce the environmental impact of demolition and new construction, and it saves money.
I would say that given the time and the cost it would have been to build a brand new building, we probably save between $1 and $2 million on this project.
A few hints of Clara's Junction's former life remain just for fun. The drive-through menu board is still up and repurposed into a scoreboard for cornhole players. And one of the original fast food booths was kept intact, complete with an original Carl's Jr. star.
This is a fun endeavor. This is going to transform a space. This is going to create something better. And along the way, we're probably going to learn something new about our own design and what the space could be.
Jessica Chavez, who came for lunch with her friend, told me she remembers there was a Carl's Jr. at this location, but was surprised to find out it's still here.
The fact that they were able to repurpose and really build it out the way that they did is super impressive.
The Carl's Jr. was not historic and hardly significant, but Rob Gomez and his team found that it had good bones that were worth saving, and now it will live on to serve up a new kind of dining experience.
Food looks good too. The owner says he hopes the place becomes a hot spot for 49er fans on game day. Coming up, when you think the Silicon Valley may not face any food insecurity, it does. How a Bay Area food bank is multiplying your money to help fight the silent crisis.
have the most beautiful mild weather pattern for us here in the Bay Area. 70s in store for us down into the Santa Clara Valley this afternoon. So yeah, a little bit warmer than usual if you ask me, by about 15 degrees in certain pockets of the Bay Area. We're still holding on tight to 60s though, anywhere from San Francisco up across the Golden Gate Bridge, all the way up into the North Bay near Marin and Sonoma. Beautiful mid-mild 70s or 60s in the forecast for us. Beautiful mild weather in the forecast too. Here's what's happening as we head outside today. We're going to continue to see these partly cloudy skies really develop as we head outside and head into the afternoon hours too. Now light winds are going to stick around for us heading into the afternoon hours today, lasting into this afternoon and evening tonight. We're really not going to see too much of a change in the forecast for us. Just some partly cloudy skies rolling in from offshore. Now it is a spare the air alert day today, so keep that in mind, especially when it comes to outdoor burning. Today's not the day to be doing it. Heading into the next 7 days, we remain dry, widespread throughout the Bay Area, and that's kind of the big weather story for us this week, is the fact that this area of high pressure, it's been ridging its way in, and so that's going to dry us up, like we see issued by the Climate Prediction Center. For the next 6 to 10 days, we're dealing with drier than normal conditions, but we're also dealing with warmer than normal conditions too. So let's take a look at the next 7 days. Really, based on where you live in the Bay Area, it's going to be a little bit different, but if you live along the Bay, we'll still hold on tight to mid to upper 60s today, tomorrow, lasting into the rest of this week with just those partly cloudy skies, kind of like what we see right now behind me over the Bay Bridge. It's almost hard to tell right now because it's a little saturated, but heading into our inland areas, now it depends on where we're talking about. Usually this behind me is just an average, right, of the East Bay, the North Bay, the Santa Clara Valley. But once we head into the next couple of days, you're going to notice it's a lot warmer down near San Jose. 70s are going to hold on tight to us pretty much all week long. But the rest of us in the East Bay and the North Bay will see mid 60s, upper 60s for a bit, with some cooler weather diving into this weekend.
Food banks across the Bay Area continue to see a record need this holiday season, and meeting that need requires a lot of time and donations. That's why Second Harvest of Silicon Valley is pledging to triple all donations that come in over the next few days. Max Darrow has those details.
At Second Harvest of Silicon Valley, volunteers and staff members are as busy as ever because the need is as great as ever.
1 in 6 neighbors are currently accessing food assistance.
Shobana Gubi is the Chief Philanthropy Officer at Second Harvest of Silicon Valley. They distribute food to people throughout Santa Clara and San Mateo counties.
1 in 6 people in Silicon Valley, one of the wealthiest areas of America, is seeing food insecurity. Can you tell me a little bit more about why that may be the case?
Yes, this is a very affluent area, but we also have the highest level of income inequality. It's extremely expensive to live here, as we all know. Rents, groceries, gas, childcare, everything is expensive, and everything is more expensive in Silicon Valley.
And when times get tough, the food budget is often the first thing people cut.
Many of our clients are holding down multiple jobs often and can't stretch their dollar far enough.
Second Harvest is in the midst of a major push to help people fight this silent crisis. And right now, through midnight on Giving Tuesday, donations will be extra impactful.
So any donation you make right now will be tripled, thanks to a generous donation from the Reid Hoffman Foundation.
A triple match. Let's go back to just a singular dollar. How far can a dollar go? We'll start there.
We are extremely efficient, and $1 donated allows us to provide enough food for 2 meals. So right now, if you donate $10, that will help provide 60 meals.
Whether a donation of money, food, or time, Gubi says it does make a real difference.
There's so much uncertainty in our world, and giving back right here in our community is something tangible that each of us can do.
They know how to stretch your money, and if you want to donate time, food, or money, you can just scan that QR code, or you could go to kpix.com/give. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Veronica Macias. We'll be back with your First Alert forecast and a look at your top stories.